All right, everybody, I'm out here in the garage this morning, and you know what? Yesterday I got out here and I got after it, and I got that 50 Ford pickup completed. Man, I tell you, I think it turned out pretty awesome. um, I bought that. Let me show you the box here. I bought this kit off eBay here a while back, and I've been wanting one, and I finally found this one, and I bought it. And I tell you what, that's been a pretty good kit. It went together really well. I had my normal issues, just like we all do, but I used the wheels and tires out of this kit because they just fit right up underneath that those fenders, and I thought they looked awesome. And I had them sitting around because when I built this one, I bought some aftermarket resin wheels for this one. If y'all remember, been watching my channel. That 37 came out pretty cool too. But anyway, this 54 pickup came out pretty good. That's kind of weird. It did not come with a rear bumper. It had the front bumper, but not the rear bumper. Just kind of a weird thing. I painted, of course y'all know I use Tamiya's acrylic paints, and I painted that with the Tamiya's X4 acrylic paint. Now this is the X means it's a gloss paint, so it came out pretty shiny. And then of course, the old famous unicorn tears, that's what we use. This stuff just hasn't let me down yet, so I'm gonna keep using it. I painted the interior. I use a lot of the Rust-Oleum paints for small items and the interior and stuff like that. And I also use a lot of craft paint that I get at Hobby Lobby. But for the interior on this one, I found this color, and I just thought it worked out really well. It's a satin nutmeg, and boy, I just like that color. So that's what I painted the interior with, and the steering wheel. I just love that color. Like on all of my models, after I paint the model and then I clear it, and I'm to the point where I'm ready to do all the polishing, this is what I always use. My first round of polishing is this Meguiar's mirror glaze fine cut cleaner. I use this a lot, and well, I'll tell you what, it cleans up a lot of the little fine scratches and things on your body. And I don't know, I just always use that. I go over at least once, if not twice, with this. And then the final step is I use this Meguiar's Ultimate Liquid Wax. This is what I use on Ruby, my 49 Chevy pickup. 1-to-1, and I really like the Meguiar product, so this is what I use to do the finish polishing on the body. And I always like reveal day of showing a new model, because to me it's the completion of a model. It's going to go in a case, it's going to go up on the shelf, and looking forward to moving on to the next model. So give me a second here, fellas. I'm going to turn this camera around and we're going to take a look at this 50. Give me a second. All right, boys, here she is, the 1950 Ford pickup Monogram kit. I had a lot of fun building this kit. It went together really well. I just really like how it went together. I had a little bit of an issue when I got the interior tub put in. The body just didn't want to sit down as far as I like, and I kept getting a big gap right there. So I got her moved down best I could, and I think it looks okay. Now those wheels and tires, those are the ones that I was telling you earlier that came out of the Monogram 37 sedan, and I think they just went up underneath there really nice. It's got the bigger wheels and tires in the back, and so that kind of set the rake on the truck. I think the rake came out pretty good. I got those wheels and tires tucked up underneath that fender pretty good, so I think it came out pretty good. Well, I tell you, that little old peep mirror right there, man, I don't know how many times I knocked that off, but I got her to stay on there. Going around to the front here, I did a video on this, on how I chrome the Ford letters there using my stamping process with using a pencil eraser and putting some of the Maltol chrome on it. And it came out pretty good again. I've done this a few times and it came out pretty good. These chrome pieces on the side of the hood right there, boy, I tell you what, those are a little bit of a chore for me to get. I always hate putting or gluing something onto a freshly painted body. Because I've had some problems before, so I just always hate that step. But came out pretty good. The wing windows, I painted the back side of those with a silver Sharpie, and I thought it came out pretty good. The front glass and the rear glass, that black seal that you see that goes all around the glass, I hit that with a black Sharpie. You know, I really wish, and maybe they do, I don't know, I'll have to look and see, but I would like to get a hold of a Sharpie that is either a flat black or a matte black. I think that would work ideal and look a lot better, because that's got just a little bit of a shine to it, and I wish it was more of a matte color. That poor old gas cap there, I knocked that off a few times as well, and the last time it hit the floor, and I looked for about a half an hour, and I finally found it. But boy, was that sucker tough to locate on the floor. Moving around to the back here, like I said, there was no bumper that come with this thing for the rear, and I thought about putting one on it, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave it off. I think it looks pretty cool the way it is. Got that. I initially had there's a couple of license plates that come with this kit. One was Indiana and this white one here, which is Illinois. I had the black one on there first, but once it dried out and I got to looking at it, I didn't like the way it was positioned, so I went ahead and put this one on there. I think the white stands out a little bit better than what that black and yellow plate did anyway, so I think it turned out okay. And now, y'all can see in the bed there, let me show you what I used. I always have trouble with these beds, and this was another experiment on this one. The base coat on that I used was this folk art, and it's called raw lumber. Now I took this and I mixed a little bit of this Anita's gloss black in there just to darken that color up just a little bit, and that's what I put on for my base coat. And it came out dark like I was wanting. I was kind of shooting for a black walnut, dark walnut color in the bed, and I think it came out pretty good. So once that all dried, then I came back with a little bit of this black, and I mixed it with just a very little bit of that raw lumber, and then I dry brushed it on that base coat, and I think it came out pretty good. I'm pleased with it. I just really like the stance on this. It looks good. And that, like I said, that paint, well, I'll tell you what, that came out killer. Once again, this came out killer. I think this is probably one of my better paint jobs so far. I think it just came out killer. Let me pull this hood off of here. Now, if you look at that engine in there, I didn't know till just recently here. Somebody had pointed out, and I don't know why, that engine that's in there was sent to me by a good friend, and I could have swore, and let me get the bag here because I want to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. This is the bag I put it in, and that bag says 312 on it. So that was originally a 312 Y block, but somewhere down the line, I stuck those 2 4s on it, that intake and those 2 4s. It was for another project, and I just never got to it. It sat dormant for a while. So when I got back to this, I had totally forgot about that. And I think that intake was covering up the spot on the back of that block where the distributor was supposed to go in. So I put it up front, you know, because in my mind it was a Ford, and, you know, a lot of the late model Fords have the distributors up front. And, you know, back in the day, the old, what were they, 348, the 409s, and now I guess the 312, they had the distributors in the back. So anyway, I'm guessing I'm going to call this one a little 302 now. So anyway, it's a Ford and a Ford, and it turned out pretty good. I always like doing my radiators with that gold up there. I think they look super cool that way. I wired the distributor, and I ran the only thing I really did different up here besides wiring the engine was I put that from the fuel pump down there. I put that line on there, But other than that, it's just the 2 4s I stuck on there and the wiring and the fuel line. But I think it came out pretty good. I'm really pleased with it. I think that color, I was a little bit leery about the blue at first, but once I got it on there and got her polished out, I really liked how it came out. It just looked good. Now, I'm going to pause this video because I want to go in and get it, because I want to show you what I used on these panel lines here, these door gaps. So hang on just a second, guys. All right, fellas, I'm back. I found it. Had to go in the house and find this sucker. Check out this pen. I bought this pen over at Hobby Lobby. It's an artist pen. And I'm going to take it off here and show you the tip. Man, that is a super, super fine tip. I mean, it is super fine. I'm thinking it's probably a 0.2 or 0.5 millimeter tip. But anyway, I have tried on quite a few models. You know how y'all do, you know, the door gaps there. You kind of run you an old X-Acto blade down through there, or any kind of scribing tool, and then you put black wash in there of your choosing, and then it comes out looking good. But I was never able to get that to work out to my liking. I'd either end up getting those door gaps scribed out a little bit too wide, or anyway, I didn't like it, so I stopped doing it. But then I found this pen, and boy, I'll tell you what, after you've got everything painted, everything, it just goes right around those lines just perfectly, and it works for me. Let me put it that way. And I like how it comes out. Both sides look pretty good. So that's what works for me. So that's what I've been doing for the door gaps. This hood doesn't want to fit all that great. It slides down. The body's so slick it just slides down. But anyway, fellas, that's the 54 pickup. And wipers, they fit really well. They look good. I painted the rubber portion on them a Tamiya rubber black, but the one on the passenger side was actually too long, so I had to cut a little bit of that off because it was actually hitting the A-pillar here. So I had to cut a little bit of that off to get it to, but it turned out okay. One more spin around the block here, fellas, and we're going to call this one done. But I think she turned out pretty good. I'm pleased with it, and I hope you guys liked it. I think I've covered everything, but this one is done, and you can't see much of the interior. I never can get a good camera angle to get in there and take a look, but I think I'm going to call this done, fellas. All right, I'm out of here.